So we're here at our most recent new build. We just finished it, put it on the market. It's already under contract, got it under contract within that first weekend. So just want to tell you a little bit about the project, give it a little backstory on how we acquired it, things that we did. So this project actually came to us originally from a wholesaler, right? So you want to tell that story?
Well, somebody tried to wholesale it to us and we were going back and forth, and I wish we would have bought it then because it would have been cheaper. But then that person, they didn't buy it, they didn't wholesale it, and that owner eventually just listed the house on the MLS. And we were actually marketing to a different property piece of land that he owned inside the city, and that one wasn't going to work out for us. And he said, well, I do have this other one over on the other side of town that looks like the contract's going to fall through. And then it just so happened on the MLS, I saw it and looked at him like, this property looks familiar. Like, why do I know this address? And that's when it clicked in my head. Like, somebody tried to wholesale this to us like 6 months ago. And apparently 2 people had contracted it and they both fell through, and we were the third one to come in and actually close on the property.
When we first got it, it had a slab. So there was already a house on it. And what was it, a fire or the accident that?
Well, a car came flying down the road and drove into the house and caught fire and burned the house down. So
yeah,
it was an accident that followed a fire that burned the house down. And
so there was a slab just here. So we went ahead and we're like, all right, the slab, plumbing, the hookups, all the things are already here. So all we got to do is just to build. So one of the things that we did learn from our previous build is if you're going to borrow money like we do for all of our projects, you want to make sure that you do the land first. Don't borrow the full amount up front, because one thing that we learned the hard way is you borrow the full amount up front, and if it takes you a long time to dealing with the city to break ground, that's interest payments that you're making on all of that money. So we had the cash ourselves, so we went ahead, we purchased the land ourselves. And how long did it take, like from when we bought it till we actually were able to start construction?
We bought it I think it was in February, about a year ago. And then we borrowed the money towards the end of March to do the construction. But then we got held up with the city again. And then we broke ground. I think we actually got our clear permits in July.
Yeah.
So
I mean, it took a good, good few months to get it done. We got private funds for this, like we do for all of our projects. Paid them 10% interest on it, and they're walking away with
just over $20,000 is what they'll walk away with from letting us borrow the money for that almost 11 months of construction.
So let's break down the numbers. So how much did we buy the land? How much was the build?
We bought the land for roughly $44,000, and then it cost us about another $175 to get to kind of this point to the finish. Now, there's a few things we got to do to finish up that'll cost a little bit, but the bulk of it is basically done, and it was $175,000 for the actual building itself, and then $40,000 for the land. So if you add those together, we're in it for roughly just about $220,000 to get from raw land to construction to sale.
And we got a full price offer or over ask, right?
We got one at asking price, and then we had another that was over asking price. So we are selling about $5,000 over asking price.
Yeah. So, and what was that price?
$335.
So a nice little spread in there. So the private money lender, they're definitely protected through promissory notes and the first lien on the property. And there's plenty of equity on the deal. So, they're always happy to lend to us. They're, always eager to lend because of these situations. And this project has been definitely, even though we've done a few new construction, every time we do one, there's always a learning process. There's always something new that we're learning that we got to deal with at the city, that, the pandemic, delays. I mean, we were going through so many things. So
build resilience.
Yeah, definitely.
Character building is what they say.
You gotta make sure that you have good lenders lined up, people that they trust you. Because there are times that you might have to extend a loan or do things like that, and you got to be able to have good rapport with your lenders in order to do that. Because if not, you can get into some real trouble. We've seen a lot of investors get too stretched out across multiple projects, and then their delays happens, and now all of a sudden their lenders are not willing to give anything. Even though they have equity, they're having problems with their lenders, and these problems can cause foreclosures and you to lose deals and lose even your reputation. So definitely make sure you're always keeping constant communication, you're building great reputation, great rapport with your lenders. But yeah, I mean, this has been a really fun project. So as you're gonna see now, We actually have part of our community that you can join us by texting property tour to 210-794-9898. And we do walkthroughs, as you're gonna see, and you're gonna see, we're gonna walk through the whole property. You're gonna be able to walk with us, ask questions, look at the process, everything, you know, and you wanna ask us any questions, you're gonna be able, that's the best time to do so. So with that, you know, let's go ahead and get the tour going.